Colum Eastwood. Mr. Eastwood.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm very glad to be able to rise to speak in favour of our motion. The reason for the motion isn't that we're a broken record or anything else. It's that we got this motion passed, I think, last April, and nothing's happened. Unfortunately, we don't want to use our time to discuss things that we've already got passed through this House, but unfortunately sometimes you have to do that because it seems as though the people aren't listening. The idea we're talked about all the time, we're lectured to all the time by the party opposite about democracy. The democratic decision was taken in here, Mr. Speaker, and nothing happened. I think people need to realise that. Mr. Atwood, my party colleague, when proposing the motion, talked very eloquently about the Haass talks, about the fact that over 500 submissions have been received from people out there, from civic society who've bothered to get organised and to get active and to try and shape the future of this place. I think that's a very, very welcome thing for the society. It should be a very welcome thing for this government. Oh, well, yeah.
Would the member agree that the extent and substance of the contributions to the Haass talks process from civic society is demonstrative of what a role that a civic forum could play on other issues, and indeed in relation to the Haass process in particular, does that show that it's incumbent on all parties involved in that process to agree long-term solutions on all of the issues on the table?
Thanks very much, and thank the member for the added minute as well. The member has said exactly what I think. You know, it says something very positive about our society, that so many people in civic society are prepared to become involved in a process that at the beginning, let's be honest, not a lot of people had a lot of hope for. We've always been hopeful for the Haass talks, and we still are, and we're determined to make sure that those agreements can be made. You know, it's already been alluded to, but the point of the Haass talks, the reason for the Haass talks, was because politics failed, because this place failed, because we had spent tens of millions of pounds having to police disputes on our streets in Belfast. And whatever about the reasons for that, and this is not maybe the right time to discuss the reasons behind those protests, the fact is they happened. The fact is that large sections of our society told us that they weren't happy with where we were going and how we were leading things. Maybe that should tell us something. Maybe we should wake up and listen to those people out there. Listen to the people that I might not agree with who are on the streets, who are telling us that maybe politics isn't working. But more particularly, listen to the people who've gone through the bother of producing documents, of submitting documents to the Haass talks to tell us how they think that they can become involved in society. Those people didn't do that because they're anti-politics, because they're anti-democracy, because they're anti-Stormont Assembly. Those people did it because they wanted to work, because they want this place to work, because they want to help shape a better society for all of our people in Northern Ireland. And I think sometimes they're very far ahead of this place when it comes to that. The example, Mr. Speaker, of our city in the last year, and even before that, and you've been a very key part to play in all of that. The example of a culture of constant conversation being created, where people get together from all different sections of society and look at problems that might arise 6 months down the line. I think that's an example that this whole place can learn from. And why not do it in a civic forum? Why not cut off these issues at the pass? Why not realise? Oh well, sorry. Yeah.
Would the member also agree with me, and I'm grateful for the member giving way, would he not also agree with me that the role of a civic forum is not to deal with matters in a pressure cooker forum where we are consulted and consultations have got time limits, but that they genuinely are there to take the broad picture, to take the non-pressure cooker time, to look at issues and debates over a great length of time, bearing in mind that those organisations have their own roles and remits, trade unions, churches and various other actors and players in civic society, that a civic forum is only a part of what they want to do, but when they come together they have an amazing contribution to make.
I thank the member very much for his contribution. He's absolutely right. That is the point of the civic forum. It's so people can sit down quietly, out of the way, not in here, and debate and discuss and try and solve problems before they arise. And I think that is a true benefit of a civic forum. We shouldn't be afraid of it, Mr. Speaker. If people are criticising the Northern Ireland Assembly, then they're going to do it anyway. Why not make them part of the process so that they're not only flagging up the problems, that they become part of the solution? And I think that's the role of the Civic Forum, and why we would be afraid of that, I don't understand. People talk about cost. The £500,000 was the cost of the Civic Forum the last time round. It cost £18 million to police the flags protest. I don't know what it's cost up to now with the Tweddell Avenue and all the other things that have happened. And leaving those issues to the side, the very fact that those things happened was because of a failure of this place to get to grips with some of the issues that were coming down the line that we hadn't actually realised were happening. And I think that's very sad. And I think the Civic Forum would have been able to head some of those issues off in the past. I have to say, I'm very disappointed.
Members' time's almost gone. I'm
very disappointed, Mr. Speaker, that the Ulster Unionist Party have again rolled back from the Good Friday Agreement, whether it's the Civic Forum, the North-South Forum, or whatever else. And I'm surprised to hear that the DUP and the Ulster Unionists are both against what was it, quasi-democratic, quasi-parliamentary forums. Thank you.